Hello Balloon World, I'm your balloon twister Michael Floyd, and today I want to teach you how to make a balloon shark. This is a really great design. This is the new design of mine. It's a 3 balloon shark, and if you've watched my old videos, you know that I did do a balloon shark back then too. But this design is different and better. Truthfully, I didn't even want to give this design away, but I was in a sharing spirit, so I figured, why not? Everybody should have an awesome balloon shark. Let me walk you through how to make it. Get your 260 of whatever color shark you're going to want. I'm going to be using blue. And then for the stomach, get a lighter color. I'll be using white. Inflate the blue color, or your main color, about 2/3 of the way, and the white color about halfway, and tie. Hold on to the underbelly color for a second. And let's start with the main color. Unlike most balloon animals where you start at the top of the animal and work your way towards its tail, with a shark we're going to start at the tail and work our way towards its mouth. For the end of the tail, we're going to twist a section about 2 inches for the top part of the tail, followed by about a 1-inch flower petal. And then you arrange it like this. And then here we have the back of the tail. Now for the rest of the tail, we're going to want to twist a section about 3 to 4 inches. And at this point, we're going to want to twist this white balloon, or your underbody belly color, whatever color you're going to use. We're going to twist that color there into there too. And the reason why we inflated the white balloon is so we can make this twist and twist it in there without having to worry about it coming undone. Now the next section, a little bit bigger than the tail length here. We're going to want to twist a section, so about 4 to 5 inches. Now this time, if you should be getting close towards the end. I am not, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat it a little bit. I'm going to let that come undone. I'm going to give it a squeeze to try to ration out the rest of that air. Now we twist the mouth of our shark, and we're going to want to make sure this is soft, so give it a squeeze, and then twist a flower petal that's big enough for you to stick your finger in. And the reason we want it big enough to stick your finger in is because we're going to thread the rest of this balloon here through it. You're going to want those to lay pretty much flat and even. This part here will be the lower jaw of the shark. Now we didn't make the upper jaw of the shark, which is going to be about the same size as this one. So we make a flower petal, and we twist it over. And there we have that part there. Now, you're going to once again want the white balloon to lay pretty much flat. So between the flower petal and this section here, you want it to be like a straight line. And then the white balloon, you're going to want it to connect from here, and we're going to want it to connect over here, and that's going to be like a straight line. So you want those to be about the same length. Now, if you look at the flower petal here, right at the end of the flower petal, we're going to twist the section off. Now what we want to do is we want to make a knot right there, so we don't need the rest of this. So go up a section and break it off and let that piece go. And then take this section here and tie it right where you twisted it. Now you don't need all of that, so you can then take a section and break it off like that. If you have scissors, that'd probably be easier. Now, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take that knot there, and we're going to want to pull it through towards the front of the balloon, like so. What that does is it wedges that into there, but we don't want that white part sticking up, so we're just going to gently sort of push it down, just so it doesn't show up. And then we readjust the head. Now this is just some scrap, but I'm leaving it in place because it helps hold things together. You can already see it starting to look a little shark-like. Get your other top color, once again, I'm using blue, and inflate it about 2/3 of the way. Now here comes a little bit of a tricky part. This section here, we need to add another one. If this part here of yours is long enough to make it all the way to the back, then use that part. But we don't want like an extra bubble back here. So I'm just going to take this section here. I'm going to take that knot. I'm going to wrap it around and feed it through. So it's attached where the tail meets the other white balloon, the end of the white balloon. And then that same length as this one here, I'm going to twist another section there. And I just need one about that big. Now I'm going to go some length down. I'm going to break it off. I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to tie it. Now that might be difficult for some of you. If it is, you can find another way of doing that. This is just the way that I like to do it, because it's a little bit quicker for me. Now you take that knot there, and I'm going to wrap it around that one through, and try to sneak it in there. Oops. If this comes undone, don't worry about that. We just want to make sure that's the right length as earlier. Now this one here I don't need, so I'm going to push all the air to the end. I'm going to twist a small bubble. I'm going to pop it, let the air out, take the rest of that slack, and I'm going to push it down and underneath there. And the next part, we have to put this part back in there. So once again, pull that towards the front through so that it gets wedged in there all nice and tight, and then push the slack back in there so it's not seen. Now we have our shark body. The only thing we need left are the fins. Yes, and the flippers. That's why we saved this piece here. This is where a really cool idea comes in. I don't know if anybody has done something like this in the past. Just trying to get rid of that small bubble. Okay, we'll leave it. We're going to take a section, and you're going to want to get some slack there on the end. Not a lot, just enough, like almost like a pinch's amount. And then make a small twist about 2 to maybe 3 inches. So you should have a section that looks about like that. Ignore the slack and the little bubble there on the end. We'll get rid of those in a minute. But you should have like an uninflated part here, and then about a 2 or 3 inch bubble here. Now make a shark fin. To make a shark fin, what I like to do is I make a small bubble there, like a 1 inch bubble, followed by a soft, like 2 or 3 inch bubble. And then I twist those together, like so. So the shark fin should look something like that. Now, just like we made that one, we're going to want to make another one. Twist a section about the same length as the inflated part. Now, if you have uninflated parts left, this might be easier. Me, I've inflated my whole part. So what I need to do now is I need to pop that part off and let the air out, but holding on to it to where it meets that section that I've already twisted. Now, same length up. It's actually a little too much. Let me let a little bit more air out. There we go. Now that same length there for the uninflated part, I want that same amount on this side. So I tied the knot higher than the balloon, so I have the uninflated part. Now we can trim off those little pieces that we don't want, like so. Apparently mine's going to have a small growth on its fin. But we want something that looks like this. Uninflated parts here, shark fin in the middle, inflated parts leading up to that. The reason we have uninflated parts here is so that we can push the air back down to there, giving us slack on the top. Now comes the fun part. In between those 2 sections on the top of the shark's body, we're going to take this and we're going to feed each one of these through to where it comes out on either side of the white balloon. So it's going to look something like this. Shark fin comes through. And you can see this one here sort of came undone. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap that one up again on that side. And then this side here comes through on there. So what you should have is something that looks sort of like this. Now, as you can see, there's all kinds of space underneath there, and it's making it bow on the bottom, and the shark fin isn't really poking through very high. So here's where the slack comes in. You're going to move the air towards the slack on each one of those ends. And when you do that, you'll notice something. The balloons all start to lay flat again. And you can actually pull the shark fin up quite a bit more than you were able to before. There we go. And another cool thing is that instead of these things sticking straight out, you can also sort of pull them to the side, give it a squeeze, and then they sort of poke out pointing back. Now you just sort of adjust it a little bit, making sure your shark is the way you want it to be. And we have ourselves a 3-balloon, really cool looking shark. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Pretty cool, huh? Now we draw the eyes and the teeth on there. The eyes are pretty simple. Get out your marker and follow along with me. To draw the eyes, I draw a diagonal eyebrow from back to forward, like this. Then I make a partial circle underneath for his eye. Inside that circle, I make a small circle to show his focus or intent, and then I fill in the rest of the bigger circle. I do the same on the other side. Diagonal line, partial circle, smaller circle, fill it in. For the teeth, what I like to do is make small triangles in one fluid motion, bouncing against the blue balloon while riding on the white balloon. So to show you how I do this, I would go like this. And then do it again on the other side. And then try to make those two match up. And there we have a shark with a mean expression and sharp teeth. And there we have our 3-balloon shark. I'm Michael Floyd, your balloon twister. For more balloon instructions, go to balloon-animals.com. Hey, wait, this isn't in the script.